Hey guys, Scott here, and let's go over my first day with Pinhead on the PTB. It was an experience, all right. As I'm sure you've heard from many sources, he is bugged beyond all recognition. Not really, I'm exaggerating. He's pretty badly bugged in a lot of aspects, though. 10 out of 14 of my games just crashed. Like the servers just stopped working for whatever reason. Seems to be only happening with this killer, so he has an extremely bad lunge bug. Basically, it is very hard for me to give a good unbiased opinion on how strong I think he is because the game was so dysfunctional. So I don't actually know. I think overall he's going to be stronger than Clown because when Chain Hunt is active, he is actually extremely difficult to get away from. However, the duration that Chain Hunt tends to be active is not super long unless you happen to find the guy like with the box. Finding the box itself while it's on the ground almost never happens unless you have the add-on. So Chain Hunt, as strong as it is not up for too much of a duration for it to be that noticeable, depending on how the survivors play. But overall, I don't notice too much of a difference from the PTB. I still think there is a problem with the ratio of skill required to use him and the rewards you get for it. Because, if you're going to have a power that's actually kind of harder to use than Nurse's Blink, because you not only do you have to blink, but then you have to shoot a projectile that can be easily dodged afterwards. So when you have something that is that easy to dodge, it becomes, you would expect there to be quite a reward for that. Like Nurse can just teleport to that person and hit them, right? But with this power, you get what is essentially just a clown slow. So you have a clown slow that can miss. And, clown obviously can't really miss. You just throw shit to the ground. So the opportunity cost does not match the reward is the main problem with this killer. The thing is, though, when you have Chain Hunt, he becomes like nearly impossible to get away from. And the one thing that he has over Clown is that when there are chains on you, you cannot dead hard and you cannot fast vault anything, even pallets, because you can't like hold shift. You can't run in any way. So those are two really nice side effects of it. And that is something that I think puts them a little bit above Clown. But the problem is the opportunity cost to get that same result. And I think that is what we need to be addressing. So the main problems are still when you go out of line of sight, the chains instantly break. And the problem is the RNG of where the chains spawn is not under your control. So you could shoot somebody that's relatively in the open, but one of the chain spawning thingies, the portals, spawns in a tree or something and immediately shatters. And then you have to run forward through one of your own chains, and then that one immediately shatters. And suddenly you've got one dinky chain that lasts half a second and you've got no power. So there are a lot of just like random aspects like that that are so hard to control. In fact, you can't control them because you can't control where the little things spawn. So there's just a lot of issues of why should I even bother using my power a lot of the time. And sometimes when you use it, you get immense value because they line up just perfectly, like lined up alongside the loop to where it triple slows them. And then you get like a chain hunt on top of that. And like there's nothing the survivor can do. So I don't like how RNG dependent the success of his power is because it ranges from literally useless. It actually ranges from worse than useless. It ranges from you actually lost time and distance using it to the survivor can't do anything. There's a ton of in between there, and it's very, like I said, RNG heavy on what, depending on where the things spawn. And I don't know. I think that's going to yield a lot of frustration to where both sides might be upset based on where the things spawn. So I'm not too happy about that. I think overall his perks are pretty fun. I think Deadlock is actually a really good perk. The problem is it has anti-synergy with like Rune and Pop. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. You want to use one or the other sort of thing. But I was using that as my only game delay perk. And it was, it was doing work. It was actually a pretty decent perk. The Scourge hooks are iffy depending on the map. I'm not sure how I feel about them yet. And Plaything is pretty interesting, but I'm not sure if I would ever really use it. Overall, in my opinion, he's definitely better than Clown. Definitely better than Clown. Just because of the teleportation aspect and the natural slowdown effect of having one guy have to search for that. The problem is to make him in a chase in the same level of Clown, you need to actually be good with this killer. And I can imagine aiming this shit on console is going to be a nightmare. I can only imagine. It's already, I was playing on my laptop here and aiming with like lower FPS with a mouse and keyboard is hard enough. So the main problem is the reward is not proportional to the risk involved in doing it. That's, I think, simplest way to describe the issues. Now we have the game-breaking issues that are like making it harder for me to go any further into detail about how strong he actually is because shit just doesn't work. So the first and major thing is his lunge is completely broken. Whenever you lunge, if you lose your momentum for any reason, it's gone for the rest of the lunge. Normally, what can happen is you lunge and someone tries to spin around you, you can readjust it and go to the right. Now, that's going to cause you to lose your forward momentum going forward, which means as soon as someone spins you, if they have any distance on you, you don't even reach them anymore. And if you try to drop down from somewhere and swing to cancel that and momentum and go somewhere else, it doesn't work. If you're rounding a corner and you slide into the corner and you just lunge around a pallet, for example, the momentum you lose for that little second you're touching the pallet cancels your lunge completely to the point where I had, no joke, at least 30 lunges just in this one stream that didn't go anywhere. And this was a bug in the PTB that they just thought wasn't a big enough idea to fix. I don't know. It is by far the most frustrating thing about him right now. To the point where, like, I actually, after 4 hours, I just had to stop playing. Like, it was so annoying having this lunge bug out at least 3 times a game. Like, it was just, it was so frustrating. On top of that, 10 out of 14 of my games today just crashed. The server just died or whatever. It appears to be a bug exclusive only to Pinhead. But yeah, it tended to happen more towards the end of the game. So at least I got to play. It wasn't like right at the beginning and then I had to go back into another load screen. So at least we got to play out most of the match. But yeah, he is a buggy mess right now, and it's really hard to determine his overall package when he is so buggy. So I'm gonna hold off on giving him, a placement somewhere until they fix some stuff. But yeah, my expectations were low, but holy shit, behavior! How do you lunging? How does lunging break? It's just a base mechanic that it should be the same function. How is his lunge any different? I don't understand. The lunging function should be the exact same thing with every killer except Tier 3 Myers, who has like a different, his lunge lasts longer. And why does he have a differing lunge? It doesn't make any sense. Why does he have like